What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the On Purpose podcast, where we are kicking off the month of August. Some of you, that means your kids are going back to school, even though I still drives me crazy when kids start school in August because I think summer shouldn't end until Labor Day. I don't know how we started moving it up so early to where the middle of August is the end of summer, but thankfully for us, our kids are out of the house. So Andrew and I get to live a life of perpetual summer, which we do enjoy. So those of you who have kids that are in the high school age or getting close to it and they're going to graduate soon, you can join us in this search for perpetual summer if you choose. But I want to talk this week um, about something that's been on my mind quite a bit. It's been a lot of conversations I've had, just stuff I've consumed and just reading and listening. And that is this obsession and the thought process of always planning for what can go wrong. And while there's certainly a time and a place for that in certain elements of life, I don't choose to live that way, right? I don't want to live thinking what's going to go wrong here, what's going to go wrong here, because if we've known this adage for a long time, right? That your thoughts become your reality. And if I'm always focused on what's going to go wrong, shit's going to go wrong, right? Things are going to go wrong. If I'm always going to be focused on what's going to go wrong and what is this the bad thing and that bad thing, not only can they become, am I manifesting that, I'm also attracting other people that think the same way. What a miserable circle that could be in to be in if we're all sitting around talking about what's going to go wrong and not sharing what's going to go right. So I want to talk this week about what's the possibility of obsessing over what can go right? Right? What is the reality versus the fantasy of thinking things are going to go right or get better than I thought? What if this next idea I have, I'm like, oh my God, it's this. And then it becomes even bigger because I believed in it. What if we take the energy? What if we take our energy that it takes to think of all the things that could go wrong, all the obstacles, all the hurdles, and instead of making up all the possible failure scenarios, we take that energy and we think about what will it feel like when this goes right? We think of a challenge that's going to come our way and assume things are going to work out fine if we show up and we put in our work. What if we start to believe that if we make the right choices, we choose the right course of action, and we embrace the outcomes, things are going to work in our favor? Right? I struggle to see how I will fail. Right? People, I've been on a couple different podcasts recently, and people are like, what's your biggest failure? And I have to think for a long time usually because I don't spend time thinking about failures. I don't spend time thinking about things I didn't do well because even if I didn't do well, I learned something from them. I don't factor that into how I'm going to do things in the future, right? I'll take whatever lessons were meant for me. I'll learn from those, but I'm not going to sit and dwell on this time I did something bad in high school. I did this stupid thing or that. So like that doesn't fulfill me. That doesn't let me dream newer things. That doesn't propel me to move forward. I don't want to make decisions in my life based on what's going to go wrong. And I don't want to have relationships in my life that are based off my thoughts of what's going to go wrong. Right? How can I truly love Andrea with all my being if I'm always worried about what's going to go wrong? How can I teach my kids to be courageous and live vibrant, healthy lives if I've instilled them to always look around for what's going to go wrong? Right. And I was even thinking like for my MMA fights, visualization practice was a huge part of my training regimen. I didn't visualize myself losing the fight. I visualized winning, but I visualized struggling, right? I envisioned my opponent being strong, my opponent being skilled, my opponent putting me in bad situations so that I could see myself overcoming. I could see myself working through it. I could see myself being challenged, but rising up to meet it, right? Sometimes we think if somebody sees the positive stuff, it's only rainbows and gumballs. And I think that that's selling people short. Right? Because just because I choose to see the positive doesn't mean I'm looking for a life avoiding struggles. I'm not looking for life avoiding stressors or obstacles. But what it allows me to do, because I'm seeing what's possible, because I want you to see what's possible, is when they appear, they're opportunities for me to grow. When they appear, it's an opportunity for me to stop, make up a different decision, to reevaluate my route, not to stop course and turn back and go, it wasn't for me, just wasn't meant to be, or quit, or I go back to where I've been. It's a chance for me to take a pause and reassess my route. Maybe I got to take a different angle. Maybe I got to make a new relationship. Maybe I need to learn something new, challenge myself, develop a new skill. But I'm going to still see myself overcoming these things. Choosing to see the possibilities is usually the exact kind of person you want to be around. Right? That person that if you say you have a dream, they're like, oh my God, let me hear about this dream. Tell me, oh, there's this possibility. That's who you want to be around. But you can't find them if you're not going to do that. Right? If, with each passing second, it's never coming back. So if I just spent this last second thinking about all the things that could possibly go wrong with this episode of the podcast, how good is the next second going to be? Because it's not focused on growth. It's not focused on sharing an important message. It's not focused on, man, am I my best? I'm worried about the last one. Right? I don't want to waste time thinking of how I can fail, what could possibly go wrong, or what other people will think. Because each second I spend there is another second I didn't develop myself further. I want to spend my seconds believing in me. I want you to spend your seconds believing in you. What is possible, period. Life is too short, wasting time not being our best. So let me ask you this. What would your next moment look like if you just chose to believe in you? If you chose to believe that whatever you're facing today is designed for you, to help you, whatever problems you got today, they're good for you. And I believe if I put my effort into solving this problem, there's going to be a great outcome on the other side. If we choose that mindset, what's the next moment going to look like? What talent, dreams, relationships might you discover that are right there in front of you, but you didn't see them in that light because you weren't looking for it? And in the moments people just spent scrolling through a social media feed or watching a TV show or one of the worst things ever, looking at the clock, counting down the time till it is time to leave work. That's all time we never get back again. But did we make ourselves better? Did we learn something? Did we challenge ourselves? Every moment we spend not improving ourselves, not thinking about ourselves, not wanting to go, wait a second. Is this day, did I give it my all? Did I get my money's worth of this day? We can't get it back. So, when I ask these warm-up questions for my guests, one of the ones I like to ask is at sunrises, sunsets, and I'll just share with you guys. I'm 100% sunrises because I love getting up early. I love seeing the sun come up, and I love the possibility of everything that's in that day. And from the time I see that sun, I have like 18 hours of day left to do stuff. Sunsets sometimes hurt me. Some sunsets make me reflect, man, this day is almost over and I'll never get this day again. I'll never be me on this day again. Did I get my money's worth? Did I give it my all? Did I approach my relationships, my projects, my businesses with openness and belief of what's going to go right? Or did I spend my time today thinking about, oh my God, what can go wrong? And planning for all the things that could go wrong and reading stuff and consuming information all makes me want to think things are going wrong. You see, that's a choice we get to have. Is do we want to see the possibilities of everything going right Unless, what about if we obsess? What about if we take that and we go, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna practice right now, just taking every decision point I have and say, what if everything goes right? What does that look like? And that's what I'm gonna believe in. What kind of momentum will we create? What kind of people will we attract to our circles? What kind of other opportunities might find us because we're seeing what's going right versus putting up walls to protect ourselves from what could go wrong? So let's take this next moment and the moment after that, the next hour and the next days, and challenge ourselves to obsess on what can go right in our daily lives and our moments in our world. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear some of the things that are going right and what it feels like to you to obsess on going right versus focusing on what could go wrong. And as always, I want to thank all of you that are listening each and every week. We can't do this without you. Please like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, your podcast platforms. And if you're interested, we have memberships available from $2 to $10 on Patreon, in which you get early access to the episodes, you get some extra content, and quite honestly, you get the satisfaction of knowing you're helping support our mission of becoming the most impactful podcast in the world. Have a great week, everybody, and let's focus on what's going to go right.